What's in my camera bag? Well, it really depends. Let's talk about it. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to Rusty Brown Photography. I am Rusty. So glad you guys are here. Today I'm doing a quick video on what's in my camera bag for 2026, and I want to explain why I think it depends. I do think it depends, right? So I got my handy dandy coach's clipboard here. Make sure that my notes are straight. So let's get right into it. So when I say it depends, I mean everything is situational, right? So I have a lot of gear here, but typically I would not bring all of that gear everywhere. So I have three major situations that dictate not only what's in my bag, but which specific bag that I take, right? So with that, let's start with the big one. I'm in a studio today. I've actually been in two studios. I'm in the second studio of the day for a shoot that I'm doing a little bit later with Lily. When I come to the studio, what I have in my bag is two camera bodies. I have the Sony A7R5 with the Sigma 24-70 f2.8 DGN art. See if I got it here. Lens, this guy right here. This is the main camera when I come to the studio. But I also have an old favorite. Some of you are going to know what it is. This is the Sony A99 Mark II SLT. So basically a DSLR, 42 megapixel. It's old. This one came out around 2016, 2017. Just a workhorse of a camera. With the A99 Mark IIs, I bring the Zeiss 50mm 1.4, which is mounted. And I also have a Zeiss 85 1.4. When I'm using the DSLR here in the studio, I'm only using it with primes. The other piece of my studio kit is the Sigma 70-200 f2.8 DGN Art 2. In a studio of this size, I can get some really good looks with the 70-200, and this is the one that I use for that. When I'm in the studio, that's the gear that I always bring to the studio. Whether I use one of them or all of them really doesn't matter, but there's too many opportunities for me to come up with something on the last minute or get really creative and need a different focal length or a different vantage point, and that's why I bring all that when I come. When I come to the studio, I use a specific bag as well. This, I've had this one for 13 years. I will put a link to everything that I'm talking about in the show notes, but this is the big Sony camera bag. I don't know the model number, I'll look it up. But it's a beast, it's durable. Like any other camera bag, you can make your compartments and segments any which way you want. But I use this when I come to the studio, and all of the gear that I just mentioned to you for this particular studio visit all fit in this guy. The next situation that I have with regards to what's in my bag is called the EDC, my everyday carry. Now this one I'll start off with the bag. The bag for the EDC, the Think Tank Retrospective 10 V2. This is the second one that I've had. What I love about this camera bag is that it's just nondescript. It's super tough. It does a great job. Also, like with the big bag, you can compartmentalize it whichever way you want. Fits under the seat on the plane, fits in the overhead on the plane. It just does not bring attention to you. So when I talk about my EDC, my everyday carry, I want you to understand that's what goes on in this bag. And my everyday carry is really quite simple. Sony A7R5 and a Sigma 24-70. This is the heart and soul of the EDC. In addition to that, on some cases, my EDC is loaded with the same Sigma 70-200 DGN Art 2. These two are what you're going to always find in my what I call the ready bag. And the ready bag means that I just got to go somewhere. I can get most of the shots that I need, most of the types of shots that I need with this A7R5 and this Sigma 24-70. The last situation that I have, and I'll show you that bag first. This is just a regular Tumi backpack, T-U-M-I. This one I've had 11 years, super tough. The big thing here is that this is not a photography camera bag. Or a photography backpack. It is a regular backpack, but I have used it for multiple things to include hauling cameras. So the third category or situation that I have is called travel. And when I travel, I like to travel light, meaning something's gonna go in this bag, but there's other stuff that's going in there as well. This Tumi does an amazing job of taking care of that for me. Two things can be in the travel. I have short travel / people, long travel / holiday vacation. Recently, I went up to New York and met a model that I've worked with several times before. She's just a super good model, and I consider her a friend, Victoria. We're just going up to spend some time in Manhattan, a couple of hours. So in that case, that type of travel was really just the Tumi bag, the A7R5, and the Sigma 24-70. That's it. So these shots that you're looking at that we captured across the city, whether it was in Times Square or whether it was down at Madison Square Garden or over at historic Penn Station, all of it was just this, travel inside the Tumi. The reason is you're walking around the city, you just got a regular backpack, it just looks normal. There's nothing abnormal about you. You look just like a regular person until you go in your bag, you pop out, your camera, and you can really get some great portraiture, as I think I did on that trip. Now, my long-term travel or holiday or vacation travel is also the Tumi, and it's just this, same camera body, the Sony A7R5, but this time it's got the Sony 35mm f1.8, not the Sony G Master 1.4. This is just the Sony 35mm f1.8. It makes the whole thing really, really small. When I go on vacation, like for example, this summer coming up, Dee and I are going back to Europe. A lot of the photography that I'm getting is, environmental, right? I want to get that castle or that church or that thing or that environment or whatever it was. I will get people as well, but just this, and this is all I'm going to do. So for me in this case, the f1.8 comes in handy at dinner or something like that, where I want to let more light into the room. The 1.8 I'm not using to get or measure bokeh specifically. It's just to give me more light. And yes, the G Master 1.4 will let in a little bit more light. I think it's a third of a stop brighter, if I got my math right. But it's an expensive lens, really, really expensive, like more than twice the cost of this one. So not worth it to me. It could be to you. So this travel kit makes me very unnoticeable, right? Think about it. I've got the Tumi bag, right? The regular travel bag, which is a what? A backpack. Just like a regular backpack, regular shoulder straps, you carry it like normal. You got this puppy in there, and you can get some really good environmental shots. So I'm really excited because 10 years ago, my European travel kit was the big DSLR and the bigger 24-70. So I like the idea of, getting small with it. In addition to the three basic situations I just talked about, there are what I would call special situations. The big special situation is wildlife and or birding photography. In that case, I use the big studio bag, and I'll use the Sony 200-600. It has a variable aperture of f5.6 to 6.3. I'll put some type of image of it here. I didn't bring it today, but it's huge. So when I go to do wildlife and birding, then I'll use the big bag, I'll use the 200-600, and I will carry the 70-200. That's it. Then we go on the small side. Did I bring it? I'll have to put a picture in here. I don't think, let me see if I brought that lens. I'm pretty certain that I did not. When I'm going really, really small, what I do is I have a Sony 16mm that I use when I'm out on the small side. It's a special situation. You don't use it often because it's going to be extremely wide and your ends are going to kind of toe in a little bit. So with that one, you have to put the lens profile into Lightroom, which I've done, so it will make the correction. But there's some unique vantage points and angles that you get with that lens that you can't get with anything else. Special situation though, meaning I'm not using it a lot. I don't use it very often. As an aside, another travel option for me is this camera. This is the Sony a6400. I think it's a hidden gem of a camera. I am filming on it right now. This is the second one. So if you're doing some localized travel and you don't want to take the slightly bigger full frame, this APS-C crop sensor camera is really, really good. I've gotten some amazing imagery with it. What I have on it right now is the Sigma 5614, awesome lens. That is a 85mm equivalent on a full frame. And then I also have the 18-135 Sony zoom, which is what I'm filming on. And in a full frame equivalent, that is about 24-200. That zoom lens and this on this small body, excellent, excellent travel camera. While I have the camera in my hand, let me tell you the pros and cons of the three cameras that I use. Starting with the a6400, it's small, it's compact, it's an APS-C sensor, great for video. I could shoot this video, it never gets hot, doesn't run out, doesn't go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs at the 28-minute mark. It will run as long as the battery will run. The subject tracking on this is extremely good, again, especially for video. You get a skateboarder, no matter where he or she's going, it'll follow them and never lose them. The auto eye focus is also very good. I mentioned the camera won't get hot. It shoots 4K 30, which is what I'm shooting on now, which is the only flavor of 4K that I'm really interested in. One of the detractors, it only has one card slot. The single biggest detractor is that the batteries in this thing are very, very small and they don't last a long time. When I was talking about the European travel kit, the only reason that I didn't consider this one was because I'd have to take more batteries and they don't last as long. And there's no second card slot. Outside of that, it's really, really good. So if you're doing short-term travel, you can't go wrong with that. The second camera I want to tell you about pros and cons is this DSLR. It has phase detect autofocus, which was well ahead of its time. Auto eye focus, which was well ahead of its time. Again, for DSLR, this is before mirrorless became a thing. Auto eye focus, 2 card slots, 42 megapixel sensor, exceptional battery life. I guess the con is that this is the big body and the lenses are big. You know, big battery because it lasts, but the combination of the bigger heavy lens and the bigger heavy body can wear on you after a while. Lastly is pretty much the what I call the EDC, right? The A7R5. It says 61 megapixels, but on average mine are coming in at 67. So that is some exceptional dynamic range that comes from this camera. 2 card slots, amazing battery life, huge battery. The best focusing and subject tracking system I've ever seen with the AI assist. I don't use this for video. It says it shoots 8K, but the roll and shutter on it for video is straight trash. But as a photography camera, I don't think there's one better than this. And I'm talking about, you know, the A1 and what is the A1 Mark II, A9 Mark III. They all have the things that they do, and this is not used for exceptional sports, but I have shot sports with this camera. I've shot football action, basketball action, golf, and I'm fine with it. Limitless lens choices for the A7R5. I think it's a winner of a camera. Now, I'll say this and it may surprise you. If I could only have one camera, if I had to choose between one of these three and I can only carry the one, what would it be? It would not be the A7R5, it would be the A6400. When someone new is coming into photography and they don't have a camera, if they're considering the Sony ecosystem, I always recommend this camera. Yes, only one card. Yes, the batteries don't last very long, but it is such a versatile camera that if I could only have one, I know I could get this quality of video. I know I could get some amazing portraiture and some photography. This would be the one that I would keep if I could only keep one. But alas, I'm blessed and able to have more than one. So that's kind of the way it works out for me. Is if we're going to talk about what's in my bag, it depends, right? It depends on what we're doing. Are we in the studio? Are we in the field? Are we outside? Are we on travel? Are we doing something that's unique that will require some combination? The bag is just as important as the things that I put in the bag. You know, the big bag has a purpose when I'm in a large studio environment like this. The think tank, the toughest bag of them all, has been in the most places because my EDC is 70 to 200, 24 to 70, A7R5. They fit in there really nicely. Couple of things to keep in mind here. Every bag that I have, no matter what bag I'm taking, I always bring at least one journal. It helps me capture notes. What are we shooting? If I have to make a pivot or, you know, track something differently, like today, for example, I'm using 2 different camera bodies. I write down in my notes which one I'm using for what, so when I get back home, it's easy to call. And then lastly, every bag that I mentioned, sorry for the reach, every bag that I mentioned can carry this. This is my 13-inch Dell XPS. It's a workhorse of a laptop. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. Whisper thin, lightweight. I like it better than a tablet. Again, 13-inch. Yes, it thinks. It thinks. Yes, it fits in the think tank fine. Obviously, it fits in the regular backpack, and it also fits in the Super Sony bag. I don't use it to do a lot of editing, but I do have my entire Adobe account linked to this, so I can do Lightroom and Photoshop if I had to on the road. The primary reason that I bring this when I go on a shoot is so that I can collaborate. Like, I could fire it up in here. I know the Wi-Fi for the studio. If the model and I wanted to look at some concepts or whatever, this really helps me. When I'm on a trip, it helps me collect my thoughts at the end of the day with my notes and using my Microsoft OneNote and things like that. So yes, this laptop can fit in all 3 bags. There you have it. I got to get ready for the shoot. That's what's in my camera bag. Like I said, 2 studios a day. Earlier today down in Richmond, if you're ever in the area, I recommend you stop by to see DL. He runs 360 ISM Studios. I'll put a link in there. That's where I was working earlier today with, her name's going to come to me. That's where I was working earlier today with Kathleen. And like I say, here today, I'm at Union 206. If you're ever in Alexandria, Virginia, great studio. Stop by, see Charles or Tiffany or any of the great people that work here. I am a member of this studio. This is probably where I shoot the most in Alexandria, Virginia. So that's what's in my bag. Depends on the day of the week, what type of shoot we're doing, and what the situation is. If you do your what's in your bag differently, drop a comment and share it with the rest of the group. I know everybody does it differently. I think the most important thing is that you're doing it your way, in a way that helps make you productive. That's all I got for now. Hopefully everybody's having fun with their photography and continuing on their photography journey in the way that suits them. Maybe we'll run into each other in 2026. Stay in touch. I look forward to working with you. And if I don't work with you, I look forward to more conversations with videos like this. Take care. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.